We live and we lie, and we fall and we fly. We win and we lose.
Let's start this. Hi, my name is Jacklyn, and I had anorexia nervosa for around 1 to roughly 2 years. And it's something that I've struggled with and something that I'm very much still struggling with. And for today's video, I'd like to just take a moment, brief moment, and try to explain, try to share, if any type of wisdom that I've gotten from this, and try to give any type of support I can to someone who is struggling with an eating disorder. I only know about anorexia nervosa, obviously, because I've gone through it, and there are obviously quite other categories in the sector of an eating disorder. So that is the one I'm specifically going to share my experience from. That's the only one that I can. If this video can give you any type of support, that's what it was meant to do. So thank you very much, and let me get into this talk. During the time that I had this whole eating disorder, one of the biggest questions that I got from my family, especially my mother, was why? Now, this question used to enrage me, I'm not gonna lie, it did. Because it always came off like I was telling a lie. Like I did not want to share why I had an eating disorder. And my mother would repeatedly ask me this. And I wouldn't know what to tell her. I would tell her, I don't know. I have no idea. Because I didn't. Because no one does. No one who's had an eating disorder, no one who's going through an eating disorder knows why. Sure, there are factors. But the question of why and the question of when is something, if you think about it and try to pinpoint those two questions, you're going to get nowhere, because it does not, you can't pinpoint it. It doesn't happen in one event. It's a process. And this process can start anywhere, from anywhere. So when my mother would ask me this, it always felt like if I knew why, I would tell you. And it would always enrage me because of that. Because I was not lying, I was not keeping anything from her. And I came to the conclusion quite a few weeks, months later. And it took me a while. But her asking why was her way of accepting. And which meant that in that moment we were still in the phase of denial. We weren't accepting the fact, I was not accepting the fact that I had an eating disorder. And she wasn't accepting the fact that her child had an eating disorder. I would say that my eating disorder happened in a way accidentally. Now, with that being said, I would not call it an accident per se. I myself am a strong believer that everything does happen for a reason. And even in the worst of circumstances, you can turn it around by the way that you handle a situation. That's what I did, and that definitely did help me come into the realization that I can get out of this, and if I'm getting out of this, I'm going to try and bring out the positive side, if anything, of this eating disorder, what I've gained from an eating disorder. And what I have gained is a lot, and I can go into that in detail in a different video, because you wouldn't think, but an eating disorder does teach you a lot of valuable, I guess, skills and things that you need to remember for the future in your life in general. It makes you think and perceive the world in a different way that I definitely did not see before I had it. I think it did happen accidentally, just because I wasn't trying to be thin. It was not my goal and it was not my priority, but somehow I did drop a few pounds and it was noticeable. To me, it was not noticeable at all, and they say that happens when you start losing weight, or that whole time frame, you don't really see it, but other people see it. And that definitely did occur, because I could not see it. I was still me, the same person I've always been. I wake up, put on my clothes. Yes, it's a little looser, but like, you don't think much of it. But when other people start saying things, when they start, giving you compliments, it's definitely different. And as time started progressing, those compliments started getting stronger, in a sense. Oh my gosh, you look different, you're doing so amazing, like, what's your secret? I want to be thinner, was a compliment I received, and it was by a lot of people. And I'm not gonna lie, I was never a thin girl. I was always, like, I guess you could say big boned, even though I don't really know if that's a thing. But like, I was always on the heavier side of the spectrum. Always had a lot more meat on me, if you could say that. But it never really bothered me. Like, it never really was like, okay, I want to change. But these compliments, right? That's what I was talking about. These compliments given by other people I did not even know. It felt good, and it feels good. And when someone gives you a compliment, most people feel amazing. They feel different. They're like, people have noticed so and so and so. And that's just how the way it really goes. And society's vision of beautiful somehow has become tied with thin. If you're thin, just think about all the advertisements that are out there for everything. Society has somewhat created this whole effect and has made people believe in a certain way. To be beautiful, to be the standard, you must be thinner. Your waist must be so small. Think of all the Instagram models. The ones that you're like, oh my god, she's so thin. Yes, she's so thin. Some of those are photoshopped, but they're still being put out there. And our younger generations are being exposed to that same vision that we are exposed to, that made me feel a certain way. They're still being exposed to that. They're still learning that this is what's beautiful, when it's not. It is not, and we're still teaching younger generations this. We're continuing this cycle, and this cycle is not ending. And that's just, to me, it's crazy. And it's because of the social acceptance that we give that. We are fueling it ourselves by buying into that same idea that thin is beautiful, and beautiful is something that is beautiful, gorgeous, is on a hierarchy, apparently, because we can't get that. We can't beat that, is what we're trying to say. That those words are only exclusively for what? Celebrities? For Selena Gomez? For Kim Kardashian? No, that is wrong. The way that we're doing this is wrong. If we think that only Kim Kardashian is Kylie is that, we are all beautiful. You want to work out, you want to gain muscles, you want to do the build, like, to a certain extent, yes, that is okay, go for it. But when it becomes more of an obsession, when it becomes more of a, I need to change myself because I don't look like all of these people, like, I want to enhance myself. Like, you do not need to enhance yourself because you are beautiful, because you are pretty, because you do not need to be societal's expectation of anything. It does not need to happen, because you are you. because you are unique, because you were made this way. You were made to be you. And many times now, our younger generations do feel as though they need to improve, enhance themselves. I mean, we've been taught this from the beginning. From when we were growing up, we were at younger ages being exposed to makeup. Because you are unique, because you were made this way. You were made to be you. And many times now, our younger generations do feel as though they need to improve, enhance themselves. I mean, we've been taught this from the beginning. From when we were growing up, we were at younger ages being exposed to makeup. Okay, so I'm going to swoop right in here just to enhance what I was further saying. What I'm trying to say is that you do not need something to be considered beautiful. You do not need to be living a specific way, be doing a specific thing. You need to live for yourself. If doing X, Y, and Z makes you happy, then do it. Do not wait for other people's validation in any sort of way to do what makes you happy. If you want to wear makeup, wear makeup. If you want to wear a skirt, wear the skirt. Be you. Be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, and that will lead to happiness. Love yourself in every aspect of your life, and you will be just fine. That's what I'm trying to say. And we should not let the opinions, the societal norms affect us in any sort. And I'm saying that very lightly, because from me just talking about it is a whole other different circumstance than actually believing in it. And I feel like it starts with self-love. It definitely starts with self-love, because when you love yourself, when you love what you are given, when you love yourself, you stop worrying about X, Y, and Z. You stop worrying what society has thought and placed, because you frankly do not care. And that's what we need to teach the younger generations. That's what we need to teach ourselves, what we need to believe in. Do not let the invalid opinions of society, of others, affect the way that you believe about the way that you perceive yourself. Do not let them ruin your perception of who you are just because you don't fit a societal norm. You are beautiful. You are worthy of everything the world has to offer. Every single thing. You do not need to look a certain way, be appearance-wise a certain way to feel beautiful, to feel worthy, to be and feel loved. You are amazing. You are unique. You are spectacular. You are extraordinary in the way that you are, the way that you reform, the ideals that you have in your mind. You can express that in so many different ways. The world is yours. Beautiful, the world is yours. You don't need to change. And for me, that took me a whole eating disorder to learn, to navigate through, to learn that this whole thing can end with self-love. That is the biggest thing that I took out of an eating disorder. Self-love, to have love, respect for yourself, for your body, for what was created before you. You through science are a miracle. You got through. You're the one that survived the egg and the sperm cell, honey. You did it, okay? You survived. You created a miracle, vast miracles. You beat all of them. You're here to share your ideas, your thoughts, your ideals with society. And you do not need to feel a different type of way, because you are already unique. You are already you. You are everything. And we are here to live. And we are not here to live someone else's rules, someone else's expectations of beauty standards, of politics. We are here to live our own lives. So when did we start letting other people decide what we think, what we do, what we act, what we think is this, and this, when we should make our own path? We have our own path, every single person. And we are here to live it to its full and most prosperous extent by creating and making the best out of every single day. So we're here to live.